Hey guys, welcome back. This is Frank, and here with me is
LC.
And this is Live or Die.
Live or Die.
On today's episode, we are going over requels, what they are, how they fit, and do we like them? But before we start, Lori, are you living? Are you dying? How are you doing today?
Frank, I'm living.
Okay, why?
I'm living because this is my upcoming week is my first week of training. I'm about to start TAing some writing courses, and I'm super excited about that because anyone who doesn't know, I have this dream of being a professor. So it's about to start getting one step closer to that dream. So right now I am living.
That's great. Congrats.
Thank you, darling.
I love that for you.
Oh, I love it as well.
Teach the youth.
Come on, youth. Get taught by me.
Oh, God. Are you going to ask me how I'm doing? That'd be nice.
I mean, I guess.
I'm living.
How are you doing?
I'm always living. I give life. How about that?
How are you doing?
I'm giving life.
You've given life?
I've given life.
To whom?
Everyone, my children, all three of them.
You didn't give life to your children.
I
gave life to your children.
No, you carried the children.
I birthed them. I grew them.
Uh-huh.
Like,
but it all started with me.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Without the sperm.
It was a joint effort. You need an egg for your sperm.
I can't get credit for nothing.
No, not on this.
It's fine. Anyways.
You're welcome.
Welcome, guys, to our YouTube fans. How are you doing? Welcome. Get in here. I'm assuming that there's fans.
Yeah.
Welcome, though.
Big assumption.
And if you're listening...
All two of you.
Oh, God. And if you're listening, thanks, guys, for tuning in. Today's going to be a really fun episode. I'm really, really excited to kind of dive into the requel. So, a requel. What is it? What do you think it is?
Okay, so we've talked about this before, and I've given you my definition of a requel, and apparently it was incorrect, but I don't remember what the correct definition is, so I'm going to give my same old definition.
Okay.
And I think that a requel is the fusion of a sequel and a reboot.
Okay. Kind of.
Okay. Why don't you fix me?
I mean, I'll give it yes and no, right?
Okay.
Because that's technically correct, but when we look at the actual definition of requel, it's a movie that continues in the same timeline as what came before, but has nothing to do with that story. It just continues the mythos, it continues the world, it continues all of that stuff.
So it can be unrelated.
Correct.
Okay.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Okay.
So when we're looking at Scream 6, where the whole movie is based around requels, but there's Gale Weathers,
I'm sorry,
legacy characters.
Had an interesting thought based on your definition. So it's kind of like they do a new Halloween movie that has nothing to do with Laurie Strode, and it's just like some other random house that Michael happened to
basically
attack that night. Okay, got it.
That's exactly what it would be, right? And that's been something that's really, really popular lately. We're seeing a lot of movies kind of come back. Obviously, Halloween did it, which was kind of a sequel, kind of a requel, and then ended that trilogy terribly. What?
We'll agree to disagree because I thought Halloween Ends was everything.
You're in the minority there, I can tell you that.
I don't care, okay? I'm against the mainstream.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. But we have obviously Halloween. We had the new Texas Chainsaw on Netflix, which was trash. And we had...
Tagging everything.
I just want quality content.
I mean...
And honestly, the new Texas Chainsaw was like a sequel anyways to the original, which didn't they do that with Texas Chainsaw 3D? Why did I need another sequel to the original?
Texas Chainsaw 3D will need its own episode because I have things to say.
I enjoyed it thoroughly, but yes.
I did enjoy it thoroughly, but I also have things to say.
Okay.
We'll revisit that.
I'm not mad at it.
We'll do a requel of this episode and talk about Texas Chainsaw 3D.
Okay. Cool. But for the modern requel, right? What is one that stands out for you?
Other than the one we're going to be talking about tonight.
Correct. Yep.
I'm going to say, this is going to sound crazy, but the Critters, the Critters one, because I love Critters. I feel like Critters does not get the love and appreciation that it deserves.
Yeah.
So the fact that it even got a requel was exciting. And I thought it was a really cute, not cute. I don't think it wanted to be cute. But
I'm going to need you to think about the words you're using.
But I thought it was a really fun, I think is the word.
Fun.
It was extremely fun. And it's like one of those movies that you want to watch with people, but not only people, but people who are familiar with the franchise and who want to watch it with you. Like, I want to watch the Critters with someone who knows that Leonardo DiCaprio
was in number 3.
Is in Critters 3.
Exactly.
So, that one was one that I feel like I was excited to hear about it. Like when I heard the news, I got super excited. Like, oh my gosh, Critters! Like it's coming back. And like I call my kids little critters, so I'm like, I'm gonna watch Critters with the critters.
Oh
like,
God. Okay, that's a mom joke. Get away from me. Critters was good.
Mm-hmm.
I love Critters anyways. So like having a new one that actually, first of all, I feel like the concept is crazy enough anyways, and like other aliens are coming to stop them. They turn into little balls. They can combine into a giant ball,
which is cool.
All that stuff. It kept with the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
It kept with everything that I liked about the originals, and just continued it on. I think that's what makes a really good requel.
100%. Like you have to make me want to stick with this franchise, because there are times where I feel like franchises should end, and I know I'm in the extreme minority when I say this, but for me, I would have been 100% fine if Child's Play would have ended with 3, but then years later rebooted with the series.
I'm going to leave.
I didn't need Bride. I damn sure didn't need Seed.
Bride is okay. So Seed, no one counts. Nobody counts Seed of Chucky for.
But I also like Glenda. So
well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It added to the mythos. It wasn't overall. It was so ridiculously over the top that it just didn't fit. I think Bride was a good balance, right? And I really like the director. I think his name is Ronnie Yu.
It is, yes.
Yeah, he directed Freddy vs. Jason. So like that vibe fits.
Which was also a great requel.
Yeah, it's not a requel. It's fine. I really enjoy that movie.
No, I don't need it. I feel like Freddy, unfortunately, as much as it pains me to say this because he's one of my all-time favorites, he's just gonna have to be done because he has become so synonymous with Robert Englund. And
yes and no. I mean, I feel like if they get a good actor who understands what they're doing, the problem is, I think the remake tried to stay true to the tone of the original film, which was
I don't think so. I thought it was like darker and more realistic.
Well, more realistic, yes, but the first one was.
I would classify the first one as a fantasy, and then
it's fine. I didn't want to finish my sentence. Go ahead.
Go for it, buddy.
It's your turn, buddy.
I was just gonna say, I feel like the actual first Nightmare on Elm Street was fantasy more so,
fantasy?
Like fantasy horror.
What are you talking about?
And the new one was magical realism, which I didn't want for my Freddy.
I guess I'll give you that.
Yeah,
we can get more into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But for today, our topic that I'm very, very, very excited about.
Me as well.
I really loved this movie.
I absolutely also love this movie.
I think is a requel done to perfection, and that is Evil Dead Rise.
Could not agree more. I think this was the perfect requel. I think if you're a fan of the Evil Dead franchise, it gives you everything that you want. And if you're new to the Evil Dead franchise, it's gonna make you want to
revisit.
Go back and look at them.
Yeah, 100%. It was just, I felt like. And what I really loved about it is originally that movie was going to be a streaming movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was originally going to be a streamer. And then like when all the changes and stuff happened, it was like, oh, okay, now we'll give this a theatrical release and see how it does. Because, they watched it, it tested well, and they're like, okay, we can make money off this. And like that, I think was a much better move because, like you said, it could introduce people who maybe not be familiar with Evil Dead or who maybe don't like the campiness of the earlier ones, you know what I mean? But it did exactly what a requel is supposed to do. It continued the story, right? It continued the world, the vibe, everything. We find out that there's 3 books instead of 1. Like, it was so... Oh, it was just so incredibly well done. I just love that movie.
I agree.
So
it was everything that I look for in a horror movie, and the fact that I was familiar with I won't say that I was like a fan of the Evil Dead franchise, but I was familiar with it. And so having the lore that I had going into it, it just made it such an enjoyable watch because it's like, oh, wait, don't they just have to do this and to get the Deadites back? And I'm watching it with you and you're like, this is a different book. And so now I'm just like, oh no.
What were we watching that had that episode of Evil Dead? That was Creepshow on Shudder.
Creepshow was a good one as well.
Evil Dead episode, which I thought was really weird.
It was an interesting little episode there.
But that's what I'll tell you is that like when we're looking at how to like continue an IP, right? When we're looking at creating something based off of something that someone else created, that was a lot of someone's in one sentence. There's a way to do it and there's a way to not do it. And if you compare Ash versus Evil Dead, which was I think it was HBO show. I think no, it was on Stars. It was a Stars show that continued the Evil Dead franchise with Ash, the main character, who's played by Bruce Campbell. The episode in Creepshow just didn't work because I felt like their budget wasn't there and they didn't really understand Evil Dead. So it was just very strange to all of a sudden like have a Necronomicon there in this TV studio. Spoilers. And you know what I mean? Like it was just strange. Like what was that? What was the painter guy who was supposed to be like it just
Bob Ross.
But yeah, so it was like a poor man's Bob Ross, and he like becomes part of the hero team, and like it was just
he does karate or something.
Yeah, it was very weird.
I mean, honestly, I think it was a choice. I don't think it was the budget. I think it was the budget.
It's a Shudder exclusive.
I think it was the choice because if you look at that whole season of Creepshow, it all feels like that.
Yeah.
Because I remember we were watching the episode with the boy who likes the comics, and it started like it was like, oh man, this is about to be just a fantastic episode of Twilight Zone. This is just going to be so great. I remember we were in the middle of doing something, and we all were like, oh, let's stop doing it and watch this because it caught our attention. And then all of a sudden, it took some twists and turns, and we were just like,
it got very fantastical, very fast,
and we were just kind of confused. So I think that came out that way because that's the choice that was made.
I think I can agree with that because the next episode where it was like in like Nazi Germany or something, like it was very like comic booky, and that's how they're trying to play is like these are all from Creepshow comics. So I guess that would make sense. But
yeah, I think it was a choice because if you look at the things that they're doing, that was a pretty high budget. They got
permission to do Evil Dead. Like that's kind of crazy. I guess they never really said Evil Dead.
No, they never.
Or Deadites.
No, they never. I don't think they did.
But they had the book.
They did have the book. Looked like the book too.
This needs further investigation.
We do need to stay tuned.
Right.
We'll find all this information out.
We got it. But I just think requels in general are a good way to revamp a franchise if the franchise has been dormant for a while. You know what I mean? Like they tried it with Saw. Right, we got Saw 1 through 7, and then we got Jigsaw, which was just a continuation or sequel, right? And then we got the requel of Spiral,
which I enjoyed,
right? And it was the same world, everything, but it wasn't Jigsaw. It wasn't any of the characters we'd seen before. You know what I mean? But I felt like there hadn't been enough time between Jigsaw and Spiral to warrant that.
Yeah, see, and that's my thing too with a lot of requels and reboots as well.
Yeah.
When the movie comes out and then 4 years later they're like, "Here's a new one, same movie, different actors. Here you go." I'm like, give me time to miss the franchise. You know, I want to miss it, and that's why I think I was so excited for Critters and for Freddy versus Jason because it's just like
Freddy versus Jason was like the peak.
Oh man, it was just
like 8th grade when that came out.
It was like, it was everything that I wanted it to be. And it's like, at the same time, I had friends who had never seen any of the Nightmare on Elm Street. And I mean, technically, I really hadn't seen too many of them myself.
Yeah. But you knew who Freddy was.
Exactly. But like, even people who didn't know, I think.
Isn't that what made you go back? Like we talked about
it is. We did talk about this in episode 1 for those who weren't there. I talked about that it was Freddy versus Jason that made me go back and watch the other Nightmares because previously I had only seen part 2, which is Freddy's Revenge.
And that's where you saw the scene from 3 where he was puppeteering
at the intro.
Guy.
Yeah, that's when he was puppeteering, and I went back and I feel like that story actually perfectly illustrates a successful requel.
Yeah,
because it brought Freddy to today.
It didn't even just do that for one franchise. It did it for 2 because it was a.
I ain't go back and watch.
It was a. Yeah, but I'm saying like it.
But I know what you're saying.
Two franchises. So it's like, I don't know, like because I think it was in the process for so long, and they knew that it was going to be a big deal. They cared about what they were doing. And I think that's the difference between a good requel and a bad requel is like if we're doing it for money, just to kind of keep that cash flow coming in on this IP,
it shows.
It shows that the care wasn't there. And like that's 100%. Not saying that anybody who was on the movie didn't work very hard because anyone,
no. I get what you're saying.
Set obviously cares about what they're doing and they try to put their best foot forward. But when it's a studio push, that's just like, okay, we're gonna green light this before we even have a script. And just give us a release date before we have a script. Like that kind of stuff is what makes movies kind of fall apart, I think.
I agree with that. I definitely think the passion needs to be there. And I feel like that's what ultimately made Freddy versus Jason happen is because the passion.
I mean, there's comic books, like they did a whole thing.
Like we all wanted it. We wanted more Freddy. We wanted more Jason. And to this day, I still want more Freddy. And again, I'm going to say this anytime someone asks me, I just think, unfortunately, unless they pick it up where it's not Freddy, but someone else who the Dream Demons have gotten, I think that's the only way they can continue it.
That's if you're counting Freddy's Dead as canon.
Why wouldn't I count it as canon?
No one counts it as canon.
I'm counting it as canon. It was filmed and it happened.
Little dream sperms.
Look,
that's what they looked like, y'all.
They were in the movie.
Sperm.
I watched it in 3D too, so I saw them flying out.
Yeah, this was like red and blue 3D. Yeah, it wasn't like cool new 3D like Avatar 3D.
No.
This was like,
please don't think that. It was the red and blue glasses. Yeah, it was like there's a little thing that would come in the corner, and it was like when you see this, put on your glasses. And I was so excited to.
It didn't work.
No, it worked. Did not work. It was not like what we expect today, but it worked. Mine worked. Something was wrong with your glasses or your eyes.
Probably my eyes.
Probably both.
It's fine.
But no, it worked, and I thought it was so cool. And I just feel like all of that I loved about Freddy versus Jason, that it was obviously a project of passion. Care went into it, thought went into it. People were excited and to be there and a part of it. I felt that in Evil Dead Rise, and it's probably my favorite Evil Dead film of the entire franchise.
Yeah, it was really, really, really good. Oh, I'm ready to dive into it. But before we do that, since you're such a Freddy fan, let's test it.
Oh, God.
All right? And it's easy trivia.
Okay.
Name all of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies with their actual titles, and it can't be Nightmare 2.
Okay, so A Nightmare on Elm Street, A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. 3 is Dream Warriors. 4 is Dream Master. 5 is Dream Child. 6 is Freddy's Dead. 7 is technically not 7, but Wes Craven's New Nightmare. After that, I think it would be Freddy versus Jason. Yeah.
And
then I don't count that one.
You have to count it.
It's not canon.
It is canon.
Fine, the remake.
Thank you.
A Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's all you had to do. The 2009 version of Nightmare on Elm Street starring Jackie Earle Haley and Rooney Mara. All right, so let's dive into segment 2, Evil Dead Rise.
Let's get it.
So the basic premise is the same. There's a book. Somebody reads it. Some stuff goes down. All the stuff.
Oh no, not the stuff.
Right? A lot of stuff. But Evil Dead is like a super successful franchise, obviously. Started with Evil Dead and then went to Evil Dead 2. What is the third one?
Can we
Army of
discuss
Darkness.
Quickly how Evil Dead 1 and 2 were the same movie?
Well, that's because from what I remember, and if I'm wrong, too bad.
Be nice.
They didn't have the rights to the first one anymore.
Ah.
So in order for them to continue it, they had to kind of like reshoot it because they couldn't use anything from the first one. So they really like that. That's why that whole like intro of that movie is just a recap of the first one. It's very silent. Deadly Night, Silent Night 2. Silent Night, Deadly Night, excuse me.
Yes.
Like they did the same thing where like the first 30 minutes is a recap of the first film.
Why do they do that?
I don't know. It makes no sense. But
it's so frustrating, especially when you watch them back to back.
Right. So if you're watching, you can watch either Evil Dead 1 or Evil Dead 2. And
be all caught up?
And you'll be fine. Probably Evil Dead 2, though, because it continues.
I would just watch Evil Dead 2.
Yeah, just watch Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
And then move right into Army of Darkness, which I don't think you've ever seen.
No.
It's very campy.
It's so, okay, so here's my thing. Like when it comes to my horror, I'm fine with some camp, but there are certain instances where it's
slapstick.
Exactly.
That's what he is. That's what Ash became.
And that's when I can't get on board with it because I no longer enjoy it because just in general, I don't like that kind of comedy anyway.
Yeah.
Like
Very kiddie, like,
yeah,
oh,
it's not for me. It's not what makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It just is not what make me laugh. So when horror movies, Seed of Chucky,
wow.
take that route,
You okay? Need a tissue?
when they take that route, they lose me as an audience member, because that's just, to me, it's not. Even with Bride, though, it was too.
You can see. Y'all see how angry I am? My arms are crossed.
Don't nobody care about your little crossed arms. But that was, to me, I know when I've had this conversation with people, they're like, but Chucky was always funny. Like,
Yeah.
yes, Chucky was funny. No one else was amused by him. It was Chucky
Yeah.
who was
Laughing at
funny.
himself.
Exactly. And everyone else was terrified
The
of
same
him.
thing happened with
And
Freddy.
but-
He became a joke too.
Oh.
He became a terrible joke to the
But
point
I
where I did. I mean,
loved it.
I'm not gonna lie.
But he's also a dream guy. So I feel like he has a little leeway.
No.
It's like he's in your dreams and he's teasing you.
Okay, but the movie's called A Nightmare on Elm Street.
It is a
Not
nightmare.
A
You're
Fun
going to
Time
die.
on Elm Street.
You're going to die in this. Like, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter if he's coming at me laughing or growling. The fact that people have died and now I'm seeing him, I'm going to be creeped out. And I think I don't know. I don't find the problem with it. I think
So
some
why does
people
it
do
work
it
there
well.
and then not with Evil Dead? Because that's literally what Bruce Campbell is known for, is that kind of comedy.
So you're asking me why it works.
Why it's okay for Freddy to become a joke. And I said
Joke
what I
is
said.
strong.
He became a joke. He was no longer scary. Like when he's trying to when he blew the kid's head up, who was deaf in number 6, and he's sitting there on the chalkboard
hurt my
and he's just
soul.
like moving his body all weird.
That was a horrible death.
Yeah, but it was so lame
I
the way
thought
that Freddy
it
was
great.
that he was joking too much. Like, why is
No,
he?
I thought it was great
Okay, but
because
why-
we wanted. Okay, I'm going to tell you why it works
We're gonna
with
fight.
him. I'm going to tell you why. Because I feel like with Freddy,
Mhm.
Freddy is that villain
Yeah.
that you know he's bad,
Mhm.
but you also really, really like him.
Yeah.
And so I feel like he has to do those things to be likable.
But at that point, is he still the villain or is he an anti-hero?
Oh no, God no! He's always the villain.
Why though?
He's killing innocent children. He's
But
the
if we're
villain.
rooting for him because he was
I'm not
murdered.
rooting for him. I'm amused by him. There's a difference. I don't want Freddy to win in the end,
Hmm.
but I'm laughing along his journey.
Okay, but that's what I don't want.
You don't want to laugh
I'll laugh with Evil Dead because it's like, it's like
because he's the hero.
he's the hero, and then like also like if you look at like the effects that they were using, it was stop motion claymation skeletons and
Not Clash of the Titans.
yeah, like that's what it looked like, them skeletons in there, and like they had like a big flying demon where like the camera's at the POV of like the feet and that's all you see, and it's just like shaking
I
as
didn't
it's
see
coming
this
down.
movie.
Like it's a fun time. That
Yeah.
was the first Evil Dead movie that I ever saw,
Okay,
was that one, and I found it at the swap meet.
come on, swap me.
I found it at the swap meet in the little video
Little
store
bargain
there.
bin.
Exactly. So that one I think is probably why I enjoy it the most. And then from there, the franchise moves into Ash versus Evil Dead,
Mhm.
or it's either that or like the reboot that they did in like 2013 or
Yeah,
something.
Xena was in Ash versus Evil Dead, right?
Yeah, Lucy Lawless, that's my
Yeah.
girl.
Called her Xena.
She is Xena. Xena always. But that one was really cool. And then when I found out that she was in it, I mean, it made sense because like
You love her.
the creators are also the ones that created Xena. So it was a good transition and it made sense. And I thought her character was really, really cool. And I thought that show was really, really well done because it kind of reined in that comedy and then introduced us to a whole bunch of new demons. Like we got to see the demons, we got to see the journey and all this stuff. And it was just, I thought it was fun in keeping the lightheartedness and campiness that's kind of like Drag Me to Hell. Also the same person. who made
I'd
that.
like to drag me to
Yeah.
hell so much.
It's like that kind of campy, over the top, like ridiculousness, and then toned down the comedy a little bit and found the balance a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Just it's it's not my thing. And
What is your thing?
my go-to horror. So I used to have this dream. We met in film school.
Yeah.
And so when I went to film school, I had this dream of being like the new Wes Craven.
I'm not mad at it.
And
Come on,
so
Wes.
I am a fan of slashers before anything else. If I have a choice of a horror movie, it's always going to be a slasher. And then I have a special place in my heart, in particular for 80s slashers. I wish
Did they
that
go
we
on
could
past
revive.
that other than Scream?
Hmm?
Did they go on past the 80s, and that's it. Really?
Scream was a slasher. I Know What You Did Last Summer was a slasher.
That's
Urban
not a
Legend was a
slasher.
slasher. Those are slashers.
Look, where are they now?
Where are slashers now? Scream is still around.
Yeah, but that's different.
It's not. It's
Scream
a
is very different
slasher.
because it's meta and it's self-aware and it's playing on movie tropes.
My name is Frank, and I just think I know everything.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
Scream is a slasher.
Yeah.
But to your point, I don't think slashers are in right now. I think things rotate in and out.
Is that scary anymore, though? Is that ever going to be able to like come back and actually scare an audience to the point where you're a box office success?
It needs to be reinvented.
But how do you do that? Right? Like, how do you reinvent the wheel? And then because you have to look at society in the present if you're going to do that, right? Like, what is scary to us now? And it's not a masked person.
I don't know, a masked person coming at me with a knife. It's kind of scary. I don't want that.
We talked about this the other day where it was like, if, we always look at these characters in horror movies and we're like, they are stupid. No one would do that.
We did talk
Are
about
y'all
this.
going up to the bushes when they're shaking outside and be like, what's that? Okay.
So
it happens.
as a horror movie fan, I have always, when I see them do that, it always makes me so mad. I'm like, what idiot will go up to the bush until like I became a home renter on my own and something moved in my bush. I was like, what's that in the bush? And like, I totally walked over to investigate the bush. And I think it's because, you're not thinking, you're not thinking like, oh, a killer's behind this. A killer's behind this bush.
Also, it's also they will go to these bushes, right? Like after their best friend was murdered.
Yeah,
So,
you're
like,
right. You're right.
I'm not going to do that.
You're right.
But
No.
if we're like, okay, so when
I
some shit
snorted.
goes, yeah, I know you
I'm
did.
sorry.
I tried to ignore it, but you called attention to it. What I do whenever I have a scary moment at home, right? So like, I watch something scary, whatever, it's late, I hear a weird noise. I am the first person to be like, hello?
No, see, not me. I don't do that.
I do it
when
every single time. Hello?
No, mm-mm.
And I'm like, if no one responds, I'm safe.
No, okay.
I'm good to go.
No, absolutely not. What killer says, hey, it's me, bud.
Exactly.
I'm here to get you.
Well, there'll be some noise.
No, there won't be any noise. If they're smart, they
Don't
won't make
question
any
my
noise.
logic.
So what I do because there's been times I've heard things in the house and it freaks me out, and I'm
And
like,
you call me. He's like, come check this noise
we
out.
won't go into that. But
You're 40 minutes away, but it hurts.
when I don't,
Can you come over? Please, let
he
me
don't
know.
come either, y'all. He's letting me get murdered.
I tell her no.
Anyway,
Absolutely not.
Anyway, when I hear the noise in my house, the first thing I do is I go and
Call me.
I get a weapon, like a butcher's knife, or
You don't have knives.
I have knives.
You have like one steak knife.
I'm not talking about this house that I'm
coming
in
at the
now.
killer with the butter knife?
I'm not talking about this house that I'm in now. My other house.
Okay.
I'm getting like a butcher's knife, or recently this actually happened. True story. So I was in Chicago for the summer.
Okay.
And
Sounds fun.
it was me and the kids.
Yeah, you took the kids.
And go away. And my parents, they left to go on a cruise because they live in their best lives. And so they left to go on a cruise. And then my brother, he went out to San Francisco with his girlfriend to hang out. So it was just me and the kids. So we knew that we were the only people in the house. And one morning, we're sitting at the kitchen table, and all three of us are sitting in the kitchen table. And then we hear family room door open.
Oh, hell no.
And all the people who are supposed to be in this house
Are on vacation?
are literally like, we're right here, me and the kids. This is it. And so all of us like slowly look at each other like,
Mhm.
And so
The shifty eyes.
my son is like, Mama, I'll go check it out, which is cute and honorable, except for the fact that he's 9. So I'm like, no, son, I'll go check it out.
Uh-huh.
So again, step number 1,
Yep.
grab weapon. I couldn't find anything in this house. Like, I don't know where the knives were. They were all hidden from me.
Okay.
And
It's interesting.
yeah, I don't know
This is
where
the setup. The killer's taking them.
the killer's taking the
Killer
knives,
has taken
clearly.
the knives.
And-
The door has opened. Continue.
And so like I stand at the top of the kitchen because you can see
Yeah.
the basement. And so I'm looking, creeping around.
Do you go, hello?
I did not say hello. No, I don't want him to know I'm home. So the only thing that I see in the kitchen is like my daughter has like this like giant mermaid microphone that she's gotten.
Grab the microphone.
I grabbed the mermaid microphone because it's really heavy. If I use enough force, I could stun somebody.
Right.
So I go downstairs and like I look and I see the door and I look outside and apparently it's a tornado or something happening. And so the door hadn't been locked and it blew open.
Oh.
Yeah. So
why wasn't it locked?
I don't know. One of the kids went out. One of the kids went out. They went out because they go out there to play basketball.
Okay, that's fair.
So turns out no one was there to get us. Thank God. We survived. Okay. But all that to say, the first step is not to say, hey, killer, you there? But to grab a weapon.
It makes me feel better. Right? Like a big old bang. Hello? Okay, cool, nothing. I'm not seeing the problem.
The problem is that
I know they're not going to answer.
Yeah, but even if it makes you feel better,
look,
if someone's in there, it does nothing. Whereas I'm
ready.
ready
with the child's microphone. That's going to save you. I was going to
stun his ass and scream loud enough for the kids to at least leave. Like, if I'm dying, that's fine, but I don't want them to die too.
If you scream, our kids are going to come to you.
No, I'll say, run, go.
And they won't. Leah will be like, what are you doing?
I'll say, it's killer. Get out, killer. Oh I don't know. I have to talk to the kids about this now so that we have a killer protocol.
Right.
So when the killer comes,
killer protocol.
We need killer protocol.
Oh my God. Do y'all have a killer protocol? Tell us what your protocol is.
Yeah, what do you
please.
do when you hear a strange noise in your house and you know you're the only person in your house? Do you say hello and invite him to tea?
Please.
Do you grab whatever microphone or knife you can find? Or do you have something else entirely that you do, like
hide,
go to your garage and drive away?
Right. Something logical.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Please let us know. I'm curious.
So before we dive too deep into Evil Dead Rise, because I know that once we open that door, we're not going to close it.
Okay.
What in a movie scares you the most?
Ooh, religious things.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's a religious horror movie, it really...
Because you grew up Catholic?
Exactly. Grew up Catholic.
Catholic, that's a religion for all the Gen Zers out there.
Why are you attacking listeners? Go away. Cut that out. But anyway, no, yeah, religion scares me. No. Religion does not scare me, but religious movies really frighten me. Again, because I grew up Catholic and, we are...
she's struggling. Yeah, we're all watching her struggle.
Trying to figure out how to say this. We don't want to go to hell. Hell is scary. Okay. Demons are scary. Things like that are scary. And so growing up and learning about sin and all of that stuff.
But that didn't pique an interest, because that's what it did for me.
It once I became older, it did. But as a child, like, those kind of scary movies really freaked me out. Okay. And then when I got older and was like interested in religion on my own versus like my parents are Catholic, so now I'm Catholic.
Yeah.
But it was me who got interested on my own. I was very curious about that kind of stuff. And I remember I asked my dad, because he's a deacon, and I asked him, do priests really do exorcisms? Like, is this a thing? Like, they get trained to do exorcisms and exorcisms? And I don't really remember his answer, but I think it was yes.
So you set up a whole thing where we were going to find out if exorcisms were real, and she dropped the ball. She said, I have no information.
I asked him this so long ago, but I'm 95.362% sure that he said they do learn to do an exorcism, but that they rarely do them. Maybe.
Don't they need Vatican approval to do it anyway?
They do, yeah. So...
Okay.
Yeah, so so I know that wasn't extremely informative, but if I remember correctly,
I don't think I know the point of this story.
Because I was telling you
about
what
are you scared religion. Of now?
What am I scared of now? What in a what in a horror movie today frightens me?
Yes. Oh my!
I don't know. I don't think I get frightened.
Dead air is bad. So. I need you to get it together.
Okay, so let's try this. Like, will it make a noise?
No.
Like, knock, knock. No, but yeah.
So I'm afraid.
Yeah, what are you afraid of? Let's do that, because I'm not really afraid much of anything in horror movies these days. Fine.
I think the thing that scares me the most are things that are not possible. Things that you can never really see ever in real life. Like a kaiju. right? Like if you look at a movie like The Host, right, which is a really good movie. It's a foreign film, obviously. It's about a big creature that comes out, but it was really well done. It's not like Godzilla sized, but it was still big, and like that can never happen, obviously, because as far as we know, those things don't exist. But like, I'm afraid of the water anyway, so just like now getting in the water, not being able to see my feet, and then thinking that shit is down there, like I'm good. I'm not gonna go back in.
That's hilarious.
You know what I mean? Or like,
Oh, you know what? I lied. I did think of something that scares me in movies.
Finally.
Do you want to finish yours and then I go?
I mean, I forgot already, so go ahead.
Okay, I'll go. I'll take over. End of the world movies scare me.
That's fair.
They scare me like no other. Like
right.
knowing.
You said this last time about knowing. You're so disturbed about this movie.
The end
it's
of the world.
It's a wonderful movie with the masterclass actor Nicolas Cage.
It's a horrible ending.
It's a horrible ending, but it's a great movie. Like if you like movies like 2012.
And a horrible ending, not in a way that they drop the ball on the ending, just that the ending is just so horrific.
Yeah. It's not a pleasant time for anybody.
No, it's not. And it's like, I love end of the world movies, but I hate them when the world actually ends, if that makes sense.
That's
like
fair.
I want some super smart person to come in at the last minute, like Gerard Butler and Geostorm. I want them to come in at the last minute and save us.
You're done. We're done.
So when the world starts to end, we all have to go find Gerard to come save us.
I mean, he ain't saving nobody at this point. What was his last movie? Didn't it bomb terribly? Something about a plane
You
crash?
are such a negative Ned.
How is that negative? I'm stating facts. It's not like I went out there and said, nobody watched Gerard's new movie. Like, they just didn't watch it.
Anyway.
Right. Okay. So now let's get into this movie.
Yeah. Give us the plot.
Okay.
Give us the plot. Give us the plot.
In this movie, we have a mom and her two kids who are getting ready to move. Her husband just left her. Very sad. No one wants that. My wife divorced me once upon a time. Just so you all know. So her sister comes in from out of town. Her sister's kind of like a weird. She calls her a groupie, but she's really just like a production manager on some shows.
So sad.
Right. And so they all get together. There's an earthquake. Stop snorting.
I'm sorry.
Good Lord. There's the laugh, y'all. I'm going to try to get this laugh once an episode.
Stop.
Because it is everything.
No, go on.
Anyway.
Tell your story.
So the groupie sister comes back, and then there's an earthquake while the kids are out getting pizza. Okay. And then that earthquake reveals some room that was like a bank vault underneath the thing. They find the book. They open the book. Deadites arrive. Boom.
They didn't find the book.
The son went looking for the book.
Went looking down in the cracked earth. After the earthquake, when it was dangerous and unstable, he took his little ass down into the underground.
Yep.
And I'm going to open this up. I don't know.
Okay,
I think he was looking for money, though, for his family.
He was.
So that they wouldn't have to move.
The mom was struggling. So, he was
I mean,
for
I forgive him now. But at the time, I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
So
Get out of there.
When you're making a movie like that, right? And you have to have someone be that person who propels the story forward, right? How do you think it could have gone to avoid having that
us hate him?
That character be unlikable because we know he's making such stupid decisions? Or do you think that's just because we know what this book is bringing?
Yeah, no, I think even if I didn't know what the book was bringing, I still think his decision to go down there would have been stupid and dangerous.
Yeah.
I think the only way to have made it work was that while they are in the earthquake, while they're in the car.
While they're in the earthquake.
No, while they're in I think the earthquake should happen while they were in the car, and that their car falls down into there, and then maybe they look over and see the chest and investigate it.
Yeah, but then you would still
be
mad because it's like a book wrapped up in barbed wire and plastic. So like, I wouldn't open that. I wouldn't say, ooh, I'm going to sell this for my mom who's poor because her husband left her. Like, that makes no sense.
So in order for it to work, we have to be in the car.
Yeah.
It cave in.
Yeah.
They look over and they see the book, and the barbed wire and all of that cannot be there. It'd just be this random book he finds.
Like they buried it in like a cave, and then they ended up going into the cave.
Yeah, it would have to be a completely accidental find for me to have any sympathy for him.
As like a 14-year-old boy, he's like, oh, this is cool. Then,
yeah, this could be worth something.
But then we would completely eliminate the tapes that they played because he can't read Sumerian. So then he wouldn't have been able to read the book.
Well, no, he still needs the tapes. He still needs the tapes too.
Yeah, we've gone down a rabbit hole. We can't fix this. It's fine. It was perfect the way that it was. This is why.
I mean, yeah, I have no problems with the way it
was. This is why we can't find anything to fix it or
'Cause
change
I think
it
it's fantastic.
because
So
even
these
though
are
that
just changes that we would make.
yeah, even though that character was super frustrating, he served the story
100% served a purpose. And the actor did a fantastic job because
Yes.
I hated him in those moments. But as the movie went on, I found myself like
Come on, you
secretly
can make it.
hoping like, you won't die. You're not going to
I know
die.
you did not, because the whole time, every time he came on screen and was worried about something, it's like, you did this. This was you.
I did that at first, but I switched towards the end.
That's fine.
Right before he died, I switched.
The Deadites in this movie, I think,
Were so creepy.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh, so creepy.
The mom,
'Cause they're more
that
realistic
actress
and less kitschy.
was so good. The mom, like, she was crazy. The everything from her performance to the practical effects to the score, like everything. This is like what I talk about. Like,
what did you say? Mommy's with the maggots now.
yep, mommy's with the maggots now. Like, that's such a great line, and like a horrible thing to say to like a 7-year-old,
Oh gosh.
right? And then try to eat her, but it's fine.
Such a fantastic film.
It was just really well done. We got to see a different demon come out of this book that inhabited the mom. We got glimpses of what it was going to become by the end. And then once we got there, the sister has now become the heroine. The mom is clearly going to die. 2 of the kids are dead. So all we have left.
And then the other residents, like
Everyone
I thought that
on
was
that
such
floor.
it's just an interesting way to introduce new characters,
But also-
and then also spend more time with the main characters because like we can kill them first.
And add more Deadites,
Exactly.
which I thought was super cool. But like by the
Remember
end,
the Deadite morph.
that's what that's where I'm going. Like the final demon was like I don't know, I'm gonna call it a family demon, because it was all about becoming like one. So like the mom was like missing a leg because she got shot, and you know all this, and like they crawled inside of her. They just ripped her open and crawled in her body, and little heads sticking out of shit, and like it was
So well
it
done.
was so well done.
So
And
well
that
done.
was like,
Visually.
because for me, and I get a lot of shit for this, but the 2013 reboot, or whatever they want to do, we'll call it Requel.
You enjoyed it.
I don't.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it when we watched it in theaters,
Mhm.
but going back, like the opening scene, the acting, everything, because they're trying to emulate so heavily what Sam Raimi did in the
Mhm.
originals, like with like the push-ins and like it's not their, they didn't, to me, Sam Raimi created that style.
Yeah.
And you can tell that it's not their style.
Yeah. No, I get that
And-
completely.
And the acting in that opening scene where the girl's getting burned just doesn't do it for me. I thought the gore was cool because I'm a big gore fan,
Mhm.
but like otherwise I was like, okay. The only thing I really enjoy about that movie is, again, we got to see a different kind of demon at the end that Mia
Yeah.
killed. So that was really sick.
Okay, well, so with that being said, then what movie do you think deserves a requel?
Ooh, I'm trying to think, because Hollywood is out of ideas right now, so everything has a sequel at this point. But I think if I was going to do something, let me look at the bookshelf. We got something. I don't know. I guess
Dead air is bad.
I know, and I've died. I'm just gonna go, guys. I don't have an answer.
Do you want me to go
You can
while
go.
you think?
I'm just gonna be just horribly disappointed in myself over here. You go ahead.
I love this for you. Okay, so mine, I always say this, and I think the movie that 100% deserves, you're so weird.
I'm trying to find. I'm like looking around
That
for inspiration.
deserves a requel is
Yeah, find something that don't have one.
no, I switched my movie as I was talking.
Okay.
So originally I was gonna say Stephen King's Sometimes They Come Back.
Nobody cares about that movie.
I do.
Like I said.
Anyway, I think that movie, it could just be so much like
I
reading.
don't even know what it's about.
Well, okay, so I guess I'll set you up here.
You have 30 seconds.
Well, that's not enough time. But so look into it after
Mm-hmm.
this. And anyone else who's not familiar with the short story by Stephen King, I think it's in his book, The Night Shift. It's called Sometimes They Come Back.
Okay.
And it was made into a film. And I was so excited to see the film because I love, like, the book was so creepy.
Mhm.
And I just didn't feel that the movie was as creepy. And I think it may just have had a lot to do with, like, the time period and what they could do.
Uh-huh.
And so,
I'm listening.
go
We're
away.
enthralled.
Anyway,
Uh-huh.
I think it deserves a requel, but I also, at the same time, think that Stephen King's Needful Things deserves.
I'm tired of his damn adaptations. They need to stop.
Well, you bring me to my next point, actually, is that I think I feel this way about these films in particular, and maybe a few other Stephen King remakes, because Stephen King is such a genius that I know we all already know this, but I'm going to restate the obvious that Stephen King is a literary genius.
He is.
The imagery, the way he can make you see something, and I think part of his genius is that the way he describes it, he's not telling you what to imagine. He's giving you enough to create your own image in your head. And I feel like what happens is whoever read this book and they're like, oh, I see this is so creepy, and then they turn it into a movie, it's never going to satisfy me, because what
You've
they
already
saw,
made something in your mind.
and what they saw in their head is not what I saw in my head, which is why I'm in the minority where I prefer the original It to the remake.
Okay, stop
because
right
I
there.
feel like
Stop right
Tim
there.
Curry was more so what I imagined as being Pennywise.
Okay, so y'all can tell us, please, what It did you prefer? The 1990
OG?
TV movie or the two-part remake? Because I prefer the remake.
The miniseries.
The miniseries
it's
is
a
not
two-part.
scary.
And then
It's not scary with that
I
big old
thought it was
spider.
scary. I thought it was super. Okay, the spider let a lot of people down. Not just me, but people who actually worked on the movie were also let down by the giant spider. So we'll let that go. But everything else to me, I think it was just so perfect. They captured.
The kid part was perfect. I'll give you that.
The kid part was just,
The adult part, I think that's why I like the new one better, because the adult part to me matched the kid part in terms of quality. You can agree.
No.
You will.
No.
Why not?
I never liked the adult part. Even when I read the book, I'm not, like, the adult part is cool, but I always prefer the kid part. And that's because kids.
You love kids.
I do love kids, but also.
It's very Michael Scott of you, little kid lover. Go on, snort again.
No, I will not snort this time. But I feel like you can do more with kids because kids just have bigger imaginations.
Yeah.
And so the kid parts are always so much better. And I think I was going to say those kids for the TV series to me were the cream of the crop. But then when I thought about it, I feel like the kids for the movie were also the cream of the crop. So I don't know. Maybe it's nostalgia.
That's possible.
Because those kids, like I grew up with those
you were
kids.
Born in the 70s.
Yeah.
And then
I was not born in the 70s. Where did that come from?
you were born in the 70s, so you were like 14 when the 1991 came out.
I was 2 years old when the 1991 one came out.
No, you were not. Were you?
I was born in 1989.
Wait, what month did it come out?
Doesn't matter. I'm 3 days into the new year.
That's fine.
Unless it came out on January 1st.
I mean, it's possible. Anyways, okay. So Evil Dead Rise. Let's go back to it.
Okay.
Because we got away from it.
We did.
It's okay. We loved it, right?
100%.
It was a good time. Do you want to see another sequel? Or do you want to see another story that continues the Evil Dead franchise, but not with this storyline continued?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think everyone, let's do a new storyline.
Okay.
Because that cast that I loved,
they're all dead.
Minus the survivors.
I didn't like the little girl or the sister.
I liked the sister. Was extremely indifferent to the little girl.
Yeah. She wasn't annoying. That's a plus.
Yeah, she wasn't annoying. So you're right. She gets a few points for not being annoying. But that little family unit are gone. So I mean, it just shows you how much of a dork I am. That when a story ends that I really, really like, even though I know these aren't real people, like I always want updates. Like, did she have her baby?
Y'all.
And I do this with books too. Like, I'll find myself like forgetting that these aren't real people and be like, I wonder what they would be doing. What they be doing right now? Did they get their company off the ground? Like,
this is the fourth time I said I'm gonna go.
But I think that's the testament to a fantastic writer. Is that I think
it's a testament to you allowing yourself to be involved in their story. Because if that takes something to you, have to be in the right mindset when you're reading, watching a movie, whatever it may be, to allow yourself to be part of that journey.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, you don't care if they had a baby after. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but because I just think about that because like she's been through a lot. Like, is her baby okay? Like, I always. I worry about that. But it's the same way with like The Office. Like I watch The Office so much that I'm just like, oh, I wish Michael would come back and visit Dunder Mifflin.
I understand that though, because like
I feel like I work there with them.
That's how I was with Xena and Smallville.
Smallville.
Like I was so invested because like I was 11 when it started. I was 21 when it finished. Mm-hmm. I was in high school when Clark was in high school. Mm-hmm. Like they were my friends.
Yeah, no.
Because I had no friends. I had no friends.
That was me with Degrassi. Like, okay, I'm not going to let you go down this rabbit hole.
I'm going down the Michael Scott rabbit hole.
No.
Too far.
I'm not too far. I'm not letting you do that, but I get what you're saying because I was the same way with Degrassi. Like, I love Drake as the rapper, but to me, he's always going to be Jimmy Brooks. Sorry. Like, that's how I know him. Yeah. That's how I'm always going to know him. And you get attached to those people. But now that I'm thinking about it, I do agree with you that I think it's on the writing, but it's also on you as the reader or the viewer to buy into that story, because let's just be honest, every episode of Degrassi was not the best one, but I was still invested and I allowed myself to be invested.
Yeah, 100%.
So I agree what you're saying, and I think I'm no longer invested in this cast.
Yeah, before we do.
Now that we know what scares us.
Right, and as our intro for this, we are going to do our live or die picks now. So just for anybody that's just coming in, our live or die game is when you start a horror movie, you pick one person that you think is going to live and one person that you think is going to die. And whoever gets both of those answers right is the winner. For me in this film, I thought so terribly that the daughter was going to survive.
The older daughter.
The older daughter. And then I always thought the son was going to die.
I wanted the son to die. He did this. It was all his fault.
Yes.
I wanted him to die. So he was 100% my die person. And my live person was also the daughter. Like, I loved her. I have no idea who this actress is, but I kind of want to find her and go watch other stuff because I just loved her
Who is this?
so much. The older daughter.
Oh, yeah, she was great.
Yeah, I loved her so much in this role. Like, I loved everything about her.
I feel like I've seen her before.
I definitely feel like I've seen her before.
She's not the girl that was in the Scream show in season 1 and season 2.
I don't remember. It's been so long since I've seen that.
I don't think it is, but they have the same
haircut.
Yeah, same thing.
Same haircut.
Same vibe, guys.
Yeah,
it's fine.
They're giving that energy. Bad. I was gonna say bad bitch energy. Oops.
Right.
Bad chick energy. But no, yeah. That was my live or die person, and then just I don't even know where to start. This movie was just so good. It was so creepy.
So on our stabometer. Right. The way we rate it is reversed. So 0 stabs is the best score you can get. 5 stabs means your movie is dead and no one cared about it. How would you rate this one? Because I am going to give it a big fat 0.
I think we're all in agreement here. All 2 of us. That this movie.
And all the fictional babies that she cares about.
The fictional babies, the folks at Dunder Mifflin. Right. All of us are going to collectively give this 0 stabs.
Okay.
Because, again, I think it was not only was it an enjoyable film, but it was enjoyable as someone who loves the franchise and someone who is unfamiliar with the franchise because we watched it with my mom and she knows nothing about Evil Dead. She was just along for the scary ride and she loved it. She was invested. It was just such a fun time. And so I think it served its purpose and I would love to see it go on. But we were introduced to a new book. Like maybe we get another new book, or maybe we see who put the book down there.
Different demons of any kind. Yep, lots of possibilities. But this was great. I love this movie. I love this episode. All right, so let's play our game of recast. So we like to take a movie and pretty much pick our dream cast if we were to make the movie ourselves. And instead of doing Evil Dead Rise, because we think that movie was absolutely perfect and there's no changes that need to be made, we're going to recast the original. So just as a refresher, there is Bruce Campbell, his girlfriend, and then 2 of their friends.
Correct.
So you got 4 people.
Correct.
Who would you pick?
I already have my answer. Okay. If I was going to recast this, first, in order for this to work, it would need to be the 90s.
Okay.
So I'm recasting this in the 90s.
Period piece.
And
I'm here
No,
for
no,
it.
no. It is actually in the 90s.
So we're making this in the 90s.
I'm making this in the 90s.
Okay.
And I am utilizing the entire Saved by the Bell cast.
Oh my God.
And including Mr. Belding.
Who is that?
The principal.
No one watches that show anymore. No one knows who you're talking about.
Off the air.
No one watches it. No one streams it.
So this is for the people who do.
Okay.
So I'm sorry that you weren't the cool kid.
I hated Saved by the Bell. I hated it so much.
How could you hate Zach Morris?
He's a jerk.
He's Zach Morris.
He's the worst friend ever.
No, he's not.
He is.
He had some good moments with Slater.
1 or 2 out of like 9 seasons. Like
you're being a little too hard on Zach.
So who out of this horrendous can't act cast
is the Bruce Campbell?
Mr.
Belding.
Who is that?
The principal. I just told you this.
Okay, so the principal is the main character.
Yes, he's taking these kids on a weekend camping
you've changed
trip.
The story altogether. This ain't even the same story no more. Okay.
No, he's taking the kids on a weekend camping trip. Mm-hmm. And one of them, maybe Zach and Kelly or Slater and Jesse sneak into the cabin where the book is. Mm-hmm. And they find it. They were going there to fool around and they find the book and they're like, oh, what's this? And then they unleash all this horror. I think that would be a fantastic film, and I'm going to tell you why. Because my favorite episode of Saved by the Bell is the one with
Jennifer Love Hewitt's in it.
What? Or was that Boy Meets World? What are you on?
Okay, well, at least I watched one of them.
No. There is an episode where they go to a mystery dinner. Mm-hmm. They have a mystery dinner party. Yeah. And it's like a spooky, scary episode.
I'm not invested here.
You're such a jerk. But anyway, I think that Saved by the Bell meets Evil Dead, or Saved by the Bell versus Evil Dead would be a fantastic
So remember when we talked about like people making things based off of an IP who don't really understand what they're doing? I feel like that's the route we've gone.
I think it would have been a hit, my friend.
It's the absolute route we've gone.
I think it would have been a hit.
Okay.
Who's your cast?
My cast for the Bruce Campbell.
Your cool guy cast.
Yeah, my cast for the Bruce Campbell. I think, my heart wants to say Henry Cavill. But
no.
Why not?
No.
He's beautiful.
No.
Fine. Well, damn, look what you did. Now you ruined my whole cast.
Dead air is bad.
I'm so tired of you. This is my 5th time I'm leaving. Gosh. Okay, I'll start with the friends because I think that's easier.
Give us someone.
Okay. So Bruce Campbell's girlfriend, Emma Roberts.
Okay, Emma Roberts.
I'm not mad at that.
Emma Roberts and Henry Cavill?
No, not Henry. Henry's gone. You said I couldn't use him. So Emma Roberts is the girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Rupert Grint is the guy friend.
Ooh, Rupert's good.
And he was really good in Knock at the Cabin.
Yeah.
His girlfriend would have to be, what is that girl's name? It's escaping me. Oh no. The ADHD is kicking in. I'm hungry. Oh man. Now it's gone.
Dead air.
If you don't stop, I feel help me, God. If you don't stop. Oh man, this is done. I'm done. I'm not even gonna. Emma Roberts is the only one cast in my movie, and she's playing all the roles. And Rupert Grint.
They're playing all the roles. Maybe you change the movie. It's a couple who goes through this, and they meet people along the road.
Do I have to cast them?
And those are the Deadites.
Do I have to cast them?
No, you don't have to cast those people. You just tell us what the premise of your movie is. Or is it going to be like maybe a cabin fever
It's
now?
not going to be a cabin fever. It's going to be these two. His dad is the one who originally discovered the book. And his dad has since passed away, and he hasn't been in contact with his dad for a while. So he has to go
clean up the cabin.
And he finds this book. And his girlfriend is there to support him. They unleash the Deadites. He has to kill his girlfriend, chop his own hand off, and we are done with Evil Dead.
Boom.
There you go.
It's like that, y'all.
Go away. So we can round it out. So anybody watching on YouTube, thank you guys for tuning in. Anybody listening to us, you guys are awesome because you only have to hear my beautiful voice. And don't forget to like, subscribe, listen anywhere that podcasts are available. And this is Frank and Elsie signing off for Live or Die.
Bye.
Bye.